Every time we tap, scroll, or click, our phones, apps, hospitals, banks, even schools, they leave behind a trail. That trail is data. And a big question is quietly forming. Who owns that trail? Who profits from it? And borrowing a heavy word from history, is that data being colonized? Are we turning into a tech colony where our lives are mined for value by distant powers? Let's first understand what is data colonialism. Data colonialism is the domination and control over people, communities, or nations through the large-scale extraction, ownership, and exploitation of their online data, similar to how land and resources were exploited during historical colonialism. Now let's directly talk about India's digital story, which is massive and fast-moving. The Aadhaar program, a biometric ID covering over 1.42 billion people, collects fingerprints and iris scans to link identity to services. It transformed how citizens access subsidies, banking, and mobile services. It also created one of the world's largest central collections of personal and biometric data. That scale matters. When data is gathered at this level, the stakes around privacy, control, and reuse are huge. At the same time, the physical infrastructure that keeps data flowing is booming in India. Cloud giants and hyperscalers are pouring money into India. Large investments in new data center regions are being built, and analysts expect the market to expand rapidly in the coming years. When the cloud lives physically in your country, who controls it and whose business models run on top of it matters politically and economically. Correspondingly, India passed the Digital Personal Data Protection Act in 2023, a long-awaited step towards regulating how personal digital data is processed. On paper, it recognizes rights for individuals and obligations for data handlers. But civil society groups and many digital rights experts say the law and the rules that follow still leave big gaps: weak oversight, broad exemptions for state power, and room for companies to continue harvesting and monetizing data in ways that favor the powerful. The debate is not just legalese. It shapes whether citizens actually control their data or remain subjects of extraction. India's Supreme Court recognized privacy as a fundamental right in the Justice Puttaswamy judgment in 2017, but the practical reality, how privacy plays out when billions of biometric records, health data, location trails, and transactions are processed, is messy and contested. Now let's talk about the players involved in this data colonialism. There are two. Number one, big tech and corporate platforms. These platforms scale quickly by collecting, analyzing, and monetizing behavior. When global corporations do this at scale in India, patterns emerge, that is, data flows outwards and value accrues to platform owners. Local markets and attention economies reshape around them, and local firms often end up building on top of infrastructure controlled by foreign players. Protectionist policies like data localization try to keep copies of data inside India, but localization alone won't fix the deeper power imbalance. The algorithms, investment, product design, and revenues still often point outward. Number second is surveillance and state power. Journalistic investigations into tools like Pegasus software showed how powerful surveillance technology can be used against journalists, activists, and political actors, raising alarms about unchecked access to devices and data. Meanwhile, India has seen frequent internet shutdowns, sometimes used during protests or unrest, a blunt instrument that shows how digital connectivity can be controlled or withheld. Together, these trends show how data and networks are not neutral. They can be tools of control. Now let's move to another issue, that is India becoming a tech colony? A short answer is, no, India is not fully becoming a tech colony, but the risk is real. Because the scale of India's digital population and the richness of the data produced, including identities, health, finance, banking, make India a prime target for extraction and product building by global actors. Secondly, the financial muscle and technical dominance of a few cloud providers and artificial intelligence companies mean local actors can be dependent on external platforms for core services and AI models. Therefore, although India shows signs of trying to be sovereign over its data, but the risk of being vulnerable to the structural dynamics of platform power and surveillance are there. That is why the tech colony metaphor is useful, as a warning, not a settled diagnosis. Because when data-driven products extract value, the profits don't always get reinvested locally. Algorithms designed elsewhere can shape what businesses succeed in India. Big cloud investments bring jobs, but also dependencies. Altogether, data is not a free-for-all resource. It carries power. Whether India becomes a site of digital independence or a tech colony depends on choices we make now, the laws we pass, the platforms we build, and the public we raise who understand data as a common good, not just as fuel for someone else's profit engine. If you use a phone, a government app, or a social network, you're part of this story. Ask questions. Demand transparency. Vote for institutions, not just products. Because the future of our privacy, our economy, and our democracy is being written in code and contracts today. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe to our channel, Sociopedia.